Good morning. Oh, right. How are we all? Can you hear me? Check, check. 1, 2. Why have I got nothing coming in? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Oh, right. Oh. Ugh. What time of day is this? There is sunlight outside. My eyes hurt. Yeah, you can tell I'm a night animal. Oh, right. Clinchfield Railroad out today. And we're going to have a little look. So, I haven't looked at anything. Literally fresh download, installed, and we're going to go through it. I will warn you, I'm not feeling particularly great today. So if it all does suddenly go quiet and nothing happens, it means I've had to rush off. So I'm pretty sure you've all got a brain cell that you can figure out what I'm sort of talking about. But yes, so Clinchfield. Again, I've not looked at anything to do with this route, just because I'm getting disappointed when stuff doesn't meet what I expect it to or what they claim. So I'm going in with a fresh look. Playing it on the Xbox Series X. As always, all safety systems, etc., will be turned on if there is any. Again, I'm not too sure what there is on these, as it's set a little bit in the past. And as we know, American railroads, unless they're in an urbanization or a city, there doesn't tend to be much in the way of a safety system. So, without further ado, we shall start the new journey and go through so you guys can have a little look and see. I shall now go quiet while someone talks to us.
Welcome to Engineer Training. Here you'll be taken through the operation of a classic Electromotive Division F7 diesel-electric locomotive.
It's Matt.
During this brief introduction, we will go through the critical locomotive controls and freight operations. When you're ready, climb aboard to get started.
So I have to say, it sounds pretty good so far with that train in the background there. The SD40s powering out. Oh, look at that. 3 of them. 3 of them! And what are they? Just taking out standard railroad cars? So the mountains look half decent. They look a little bit better than they do on the Arosa line. And I like the fact that they've tried to hide the distance with some close-in trees. But again, it looks half decent. But anyway, we better climb aboard, otherwise Matt will start shouting at us. Right. I hope there was a risk assessment done on that. Because that was that's a long way up. Alright, so we'll just have a quick look around the cab, as we're not really on a time schedule. So the engine start and stop buttons are there. Alright, so I'm guessing we've got some steps to go through, but it's a pretty basic cab. In true American fashion, they don't hide anything.
The fuel pump will need to be closed to allow fuel to reach the locomotive.
Cool, it's like a choke on a 1980s Ford Fiesta.
The engine is currently shut down and will need to be started before progressing. Press and hold the engine start button to activate it.
Right, we are officially Mr. Tickle for this, so we've got really long arms. I'm not going to get up.
The isolation valve is currently in the start position. Use the indicated control to set the isolation valve to the run position.
Ooh, sounds good.
The rotaire valve allows the operator to set the brake mode to match the required operation of the locomotive. For the lead locomotive of a long train, use the freight setting. For the lead locomotive, the reverser determines the direction of travel. The transition lever is used to control the flow of the electrical current to the traction motors, which is set based on the movement the locomotive is currently performing. As we are performing switching duties around a yard, we will need to set the control to series parallel shunt. Do this now by using the indicated lever.
Right. There we go.
The unit selector is used by the engineer to specify how many locomotives are in the current lash-up. Use the indicated lever to set the number of locomotives in this formation. The generator field switch will need to be set. Use the indicated switch to activate the generator field now.
Right. Good old EMD engines. Right.
For this introduction, we will be performing switching duties and handling the loading of hoppers. You are now ready for service.
Cool, you've got to be some sort of
apply
contortionist.
a small amount of power to get moving.
Get your hand around there to the power. Cool, it's a throaty roar, isn't it? Going up a bit of a hill. I'm just going to turn the HUD on, guys. You know what I'm like. Try to drive by the dials, but as this is new, we'll have the HUD on for a bit. So first thoughts, there's plenty to get going with in the loco.
Keeping to speed limits is important. If you begin overspeeding, apply a small amount of brake by moving the handle into the braking range.
Morning, you beauty. A22 stream and Ollie, good morning. Sorry, I forgot to say good morning to everybody individually. You know what I'm like. I need to turn that off because it's going ballistic. Work stuff. Nice sounding loco. Right, so we are going to stop over there. As we're going uphill, we don't really need any brakes, we'll just let the train do it itself. As we bring the train to a stand. Oh, it's one of those brakes, right.
This yard features both manual and automatic switches. The manual switches will need to be set on foot before departing. Climb down now and make sure the switches are set to the correct position.
Climb down Mount Everest. Oh, who goes down a ladder like that? Whoa. Right, anyway.
The hoppers are in front of us. You will need to approach them slowly to safely couple and avoid a potential derailment.
Well, we got Buckeyes, right, okay. Alright, so let's just release the automatic brake. Oh. Why have we lost all power now? Right. Come on. Let's go. I work in rail beauty. UK freight. And I also play this far too much. So yeah, this coupling is called a Buckeye coupling. In theory it's self-locking. You go onto the wagons. Again, there's certain things you're supposed to do when you couple up with Buckeyes, but I don't know if they've put it into the game for this one. Been on them for doing it, but... And that is basically a pull-away test. So you couple up.
With the hoppers successfully coupled, your next task is to bring the cut of cars over to the tipple to begin the loading process.
I beg your pardon, Matt. The tipple?
When loading hoppers, you need to keep to a slow and controlled speed to allow the loader to correctly and safely load the hoppers. Apply a small amount of power to start moving and then adjust the throttle back to the idle position once you're travelling at no more than 3 miles per hour.
Right, so we're pushing. Right, okay. Right, so this has no slow speed control. Right, so we have to do this all on our own sort of speed now. We don't... Like if you've used a Class 66 or you've used some of the more modern American locos, it will have a slow speed setting where you can set the speed and power it up and off it goes. This is good old fashioned. Got to do it ourselves. So got to manage it between notch 2 and notch 1 so we're not going too fast. So we're not actually at the hopper yet, so we're okay. Well, there's plenty to learn about trains, and it's too much to actually go into at the moment while we're having a look at this for the first time. But check out the YouTube channel that I do. Link should pop up at some point. I do go into some in-depth stuff on that. But yeah, so this is a brand new route that's just coming out today. So this is on Xbox Series X, but it is available on PC and PS4 as well. so wagon number 1's done. It's better to go through slower than faster when loading. Morning, Rogan. As you can see, the power has completely changed now because we're getting some weight in those wagons. So there we go. So yeah, if you're brand new to trains or...
Nice job. The hoppers are now loaded. Your final task is to couple this cut of cars to the waiting train.
Right, well, swap, we got to swap. Alright, going on to the main line.
You will need to contact the dispatcher before you can leave the yard. Contact the dispatcher and ensure you're given clearance before proceeding.
Right, so where have we got to go? So we're going back the other way now. Right, okay. So in theory we should change ends. But we might well just do this. No, we're going to have to put it in reverse, aren't we? I think we're going on the wrong road here. Oh well, we're going for a little detour, folks. Going round the yard on this alternative. Well, that wasn't planned. Oh well. Right. Again, there's a few frame rate issues. Normally we're busting 60 on this Series X, constant. This seems to be topping itself off at about 50. Back to 60 again now. Might just be that there is a lot going on in that particular area. $121 wagons, gee whiz. Bit of brake on the train just to keep us going slowly. Brakes have gone for emergency, but I've got no way of... I'm going to have to use the independent brake here, because this is running away from us. Hi 6 Foot Mouse, welcome to the stream. Yeah, so this is... I don't want that. Sorry, just bear with me, guys, because this is seriously pushing. Again, just going to have to dump the brake because the way that the game is doing the tutorial. Alright, what do you want us to do, game? You want us to go... Or? Why have we had to come so far then? Again, Dovetail Games, you need more accurate information on the braking systems of the trains. You're telling us to stop, but you're not giving us the information we need to stop properly. Your tutorial's missed out a key fact. How the hell we stop? You've not explained that it's a lap slip brake. Like I say, guys, I don't pull any punches. I am a brutally honest person. Yeah, but the thing is it gives you the stopping point, and the stopping point was in this part of the yard. So we're coupling to this part here, but we've gone all the way out to the stopping point round here, which is where it said for us to stop. Yeah, that's the wagons we got to get, but the way the game is informing us of what we need to do and how we do it is still something they really do need to work on. Thank you for the follow, 6 Foot Mouse. So as we're coming in here, just check the points we want. Yeah. But yes, that's the one thing that I've always said Dovetail Games need to actually tell people how you stop the train. They used to do it and then they stopped doing it, thinking that everybody knows everything. We don't, do we, folks? We're using the, you have to use the automatic brake, but what dial do we need to look at? That's what I'm getting at. Like, for people like you, Beauty, that's never played Train Sim World 2, how is that person that supposed to know how to stop a train? Why has the game done that? Sending us down the wrong road now. No, I am reading the chat radar, but I'm trying to concentrate on playing the game. Right, so the brakes are broken. There's no brake application. The automatic brake isn't working. Unless I'm doing something drastically wrong. Right, so the normal way that the brake works for these is you put it into service and the pressure is supposed to go up. But it doesn't. Unless I'm doing something drastically wrong. But I have no idea because the game's not telling me. So we'll just hold it on the what is now affectionately known as the straight air. I'm not being stupid, am I, guys? So let's try that again. Automatic brake. First service. Running. Yeah, I play this game a lot and I'm getting it more and more and more and more. Right, so that's lap, so that's not the brake. Right, so you're supposed to just bounce it. Because if you bang it in emergency, you have to do this whole reset process. You beauty, thank you for the follow. There's something definitely not right with these brakes. Alright, you beauty, have a good one, my man. Thanks for stopping by. There is definitely something not wrong with those brakes. Yes, again, questioning quality control on this one at the moment. This could be user error though, but I don't think it is. Good old American shunting now, all the power. Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't watched a Dovetail game stream for about a month. Oh, excuse me. Just trying to avoid disappointment. And again, if the brakes don't work, that's a major flaw in my book. Yeah, this game is getting Steam later this year, 6-foot mouse. If not quite soon, from what I understand. So I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt at the moment until they cover braking. And I hope they cover braking because it's not your normal regen brake or dynamic brake that the more modern trains have. It's good old-fashioned air. Because we're getting nothing in the brake controller. Put it into first service and there's nothing there.
With the hoppers now coupled, you can uncouple the locomotive from the train. Use the cut bar on the rear hopper to uncouple the hoppers from this locomotive.
Oh, we've got sound glitches on the Xbox again, guys. Always nice when that happens.
Good job. That is all of the tasks that have been assigned to you for now. Bring the locomotive back to the yard for use later in the day.
Right, okay. I'm not overly impressed with that tutorial. There's a lot of unanswered questions. A lot of unanswered questions there. Feels rushed. Very rushed, that tutorial. Right, so now that we're... Right, let's see. So the air brake is ridiculous. The automatic brake doesn't really have a function. Right, so the red needle is your brake. Your white needle is your pipe. So put that back to there, just to reset the system. Right, we release it. The brakes come off. The brakes are the red needle, okay? So I'm going to start rolling in a minute. So you put in your first application, your first service, and there's nothing on the brakes. Right, so that's the proper brake. Right, I'm just trying to figure this out, guys, how this brake works. Right, so the brake's in on first service, and we've had no... Right, that in theory should be... Something's very broken there. That's not just me, is it, guys? I'm asking you as... You guys know how much I play train sim and how much I know roughly what an automatic brake does, as I use one every day in my real job. And that if you put it in first service, I expect there to be braking. And unfortunately, on this, we don't have any. There's just no command in the brake pipe. Well, we give it the benefit of the doubt because it could be a bug in the tutorial. Right, we're getting no brakes there. There we go, we're getting brakes. Whoa, we're running. We're running. We're going. Whee! But the big thing for me is that red needle is what you're actually applying on the brakes. When you use the automatic brake, there isn't anything.
Good work. That concludes all of the basics of operating this locomotive.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. It does not at all answer the questions that I have about this locomotive. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and jump into a service using that loco. And we're just going to run. We're just going to run it. Right, so... So we want series parallel. We've still got brakes on here. So there's massive breaks in somewhere. Right, are you going to help me, mate, or are you just going to sit over there and just ignore me? Let's just see if bleeding these off. See, this is what I mean, guys. How are you supposed to do something in service if you don't know how it works? Right, we're going to have to go around looking for a handbrake now. Or trying to figure out why... Right, so there's no main reservoir. There's no pressure in the res. So where do you charge the brakes up? Right, guys, am I being completely and utterly retarded here? Let's go on the forums and see what people are saying. Normally a good place to start. Alright, so the brakes are a problem. Right, you have to cut out the brakes in the trailing unit, but the tutorial never tells you this. Kinda had a feeling based on how MU trains work. Oddly, the... Okay, so you've put that, mate, so how do people solve it? Right, okay. So where's the brake cutout? Right, okay. Again, this is another epic fail for Dovetail Games. As it stands at the moment, this is an epic fail. as you see, we've just lost the brake pipe pressure. Right, I can't recommend. Sorry, cannot recommend. Right, so where on earth would the brake cut-off switches be? I don't think this is going to be one that I play, boys and girls. Not until they give us some sort of indication as what we've got to do. Because this is pointless. You're just going to waste all of your time trying to figure out how to get moving. What's the point? Genuinely, what is the fucking point? And I'm gonna swear, because... Right, there's the cutout valve. Alright, we'll try again. These out, and then we should be able to release the brakes. If not, I don't know. Well, they are cut out. Does anybody else feel like this has just been like a monumental, nothing's actually working? I'm just going to leave that there for a minute. Anybody got any tips or something we can try? Because again, we've lost our main res pressure, and there's no way of getting that back because the game won't rebuild it. I was alright, Olaf, until I learned that. Well, I turned this on. Going to put it into emergency, release it, why are those brakes staying there? No. We're not even generating amps. That's because of the reversers, isn't it? But we're not going to be able to pull away because the brakes are hard on. you can tell the brakes rings, it's coming straight to a stand. And it won't roll backwards. Right, there we go. Again, the tutorial hasn't walked us through changing that to freight, the rotor air valve from lap to freight when you want to pull away. Right, so now that we've crossed that off, we'll keep trying. Right, so the other question we've now got is, will the brakes apply as they should? Right, so there comes first service, going to lap, bit of service, there we go, back to lap. Yeah, they work now. Right, so we've now, the brake's now working, so we've released that, brakes release, the amps come up, and we start moving again. Right, so the brake's working, it just doesn't work in the tutorial. And it also, the automatic brake starts working fine. Okay. Still don't agree with the way that Dovetail have done the tutorial. Rogan, it's not that they're complicated to drive, it's there's no instruction. So Christ knows if somebody had bought this as like a first route and they wanted to play it. Shit, Olaf, if I'm honest. Because the tutorial doesn't tell you anything about stopping it. Yeah, it's only just come out. I'm literally going in. Yes, DTG need to do much better with that tutorial, because that tutorial is not worth the code it's written in, because it didn't tell us how to stop the train, it didn't tell us how the brakes worked, it didn't tell us anything to do with how to stop the train, just get the train moving. And on a route with lots of gradient, where you're going to be trying to slow the train down, it's near on impossible. You need to explain how the brakes work, because braking is the thing that's going to make your job easier. It looks nice, Olaf. Don't get me wrong, the route looks lovely. What we've seen of it so far. But the instruction has been somewhat lacking. And as you know, I'm pretty good at figuring stuff out. But even I was getting frustrated because it gave you, this rotaire valve is what powers your brakes. So if we just swing this into lap now, nothing happens. But if you're at a stand and you've put the brake in, the brake will hold at that position. It doesn't tell you that. And again, that comes from Dovetail Games assuming people know how things work. And what does assumption make? An arse out of you and me. And this train is bloody long because it's still not out the tunnel. I still can't get you an external shot climbing up here. But now that we're running and we've got some idea what we're bloody doing, there we go. So how long is this train? Long is the answer. How many wagons? 46 wagons we've got on. But yeah, apart from the teething problems we've had. Oh, slip in. I haven't really done the Arosa line. I did the tutorial and went, yeah, not for me. But if you like narrow gauge railway and scenic looking stuff and constantly jockeying the brake, then yeah, you might get some enjoyment out of it. Probably need to give it a bit more time, me personally. Probably need to sit down with it and have a good go on it, but on the tutorial it wasn't for me. Right, now that we're going through transition there. more units on this one. Caboose! It's a radio-equipped caboose, whatever that means. No, there's the SD40, which is the one that you'll have seen on any American route before. Is it a changeover period? Oh! So this one was an old... This is an old diesel. This was from the 30s, I think, originally. But this railroad is modelled in a period of change. Passing loop now. I think we might be a bit long for it. We're speeding. We're actually slightly too powerful there. But again, if the tutorial had told us what we needed to do, I'd have probably been a little bit more forgiving than I was saying this is shit. Sorry for people with their children, but they might be watching. Have a look in the technical reports. Clinchfield. Yeah, so that's noted there. Yeah, so now that I know what I'm doing and we figured it out, we'll have a good go on it. We'll do this particular scenario and then we'll do the other. I haven't been I had to go to work yesterday. Cheeky little bit of rest day work. But yeah, it's been alright. I'm not, like I said, I don't know if you were in the stream at the beginning, I'm not feeling 100% this morning. I'm not sure whether my bottom or my top end wants to blow. Got that horrible feeling. So, forgive me. Right, so we'll have a quick look at the map. So, it's quite a large map with lots of branches. The main, so there's plenty to do on this one, but the runs aren't particularly quick. So looks nice. The trees give it a whole sense that you're climbing up a mountain. But I'm getting a very sand patchy grade. We're just going to put some more trees or different style of trees on it. But again, I don't know the railroads. I don't know these freight railways in America. Never been on them, never been near them, never seen them. So it could be quite an accurate representation. But I wouldn't have a clue. If I'm honest, I probably won't use this route a lot. But it's not to say I won't use it. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to the main menu. Now that we've figured out how we get going and the brakes actually work, we'll go back to the training. Right, so we'll do the SD40 introduction now. See how broken this is.
Welcome to Engineer Training. Here you'll be taken through the operation of an Electromotive Division SD40 diesel electric locomotive.
So you might recognise this one, Olaf.
During this brief introduction, we will go through the critical locomotive controls and refueling of the locomotive. When you're ready, climb aboard to get started. Take a seat in the engineer's position. This is where you'll be spending most of your time. The main circuit breaker is used to allow power to the locomotive. Use the indicated control to set it to the closed position. The engine will first need to be primed to start the locomotive. Use the indicated switch and hold it in the prime position for 10 seconds.
Right. Tick tock, tick tock.
Now that the engine has been primed, it's time to start it up. Using the same switch as before, move it into the start position and with the engine now running, set the isolation switch. Nice work. The locomotive is now ready for operation. This locomotive has 3 brake systems. The automatic brake controls the brakes on the locomotive and all the cars in the consist. The independent brake is used to control only the locomotive's brakes and is primarily used when running light. The dynamic brake is used to help control the train's speed when operating on mainline and branch line grades. As we are running light loco, we will use the independent brake to control our speed.
See, now that's
move the
better.
automatic brake lever into the release position.
It's giving you a walk through the braking
Cut-off
system.
valve will need to be set to the required position. Do this now by moving the cut. The MU2A valve must also be set up to the required position. Move the indicated switch and set it to lead or dead. Activate the auxiliary systems as indicated.
Right, this is a lot more in depth. This is good. This one is good.
The reverser is... The selector lever allows you to move between power and... For this introduction, we will be moving this locomotive over to the fuel racks to refuel. This yard features manual switches which will need to be set on foot before departing. Climb down now and make sure the switches are set to the correct positions.
Oh, in true fashion, you can't actually pick the one you need. So we will draw up to it before... Good morning, Tintin. There was an Aussie in earlier. He's went off for his tea.
This locomotive is now ready for service. Use the throttle and apply a small amount of power to get moving.
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't think so. But he's probably done a better job of driving these today than I have, to be honest. Although the tutorial for the SD40 is a lot better than the one for the F7.
Keeping to speed limits is important. If you begin speeding, apply a small amount of brake by moving the handle into the braking range.
Oh dear. Oh, we're using it on its own. That is unusual.
The refueling point is behind us. Make sure that the switches are set to the correct position and then reverse the locomotive to the fuel racks.
Right. That's out of range. Mm-hmm. And we've got one more to change. Oh no, that is the fuel point. Okay. Yeah, I'm personally a little bit torn on this. The SD40 tutorial's been a lot better than the F7. But is this really something that the game needed as a route? Probably not. Personally, Tintin, if you like your American routes, then you'll probably get a lot of enjoyment out of it. But if you're not, it's just another version of Sandpatch Grade. But yeah, I'm not sure on it either. And if I'm honest, I don't think this is something... Yeah, it's another $24.99 DLC. And it's whether you would get enjoyment out of something like this. Personally, it's not my cup of tea. I work in freight, and this is nothing like freight in the UK. It's overcomplicated. There's a lot of shunting and fannying around, for want of a better word. But I don't think this is what Train Sim World 2 needed. If I'm brutally honest, this is not what it needs. A freight-only route is not what it needs at this point in its life cycle. You need something that's busy, something that is gonna grab a new audience.
With the locomotive now positioned next to the fuel rack, you will need to prepare the locomotive for refueling. To begin, open the fuel cap to allow access to the locomotive's fuel tank. Now take hold of the fuel.
Like I say,
with the hose now inserted into the tank, you can begin refueling.
Wow, it's a quick refueler. But yeah, this is, again, it's an acquired taste. It'll probably appeal to our American brethren and sisters that are into their railroads in America, but I don't think it was needed. I would have much preferred them to have spent the time and done the Northeast Corridor again instead of this. I would have been much happier if they'd have rebuilt NEC. I don't know about you guys, but that looks full to me.
Nice work. The locomotive is now fully fueled and ready for service. Return the hose back to the fuel rack and reattach the fuel cap to finish the job. Good work. That concludes all of the basics of operating and refueling this locomotive.
Right, okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. All of the scenarios are of a reasonable length. Bear with me a second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Telephone call. Right. Where was I? Yeah, so the scenarios look like they're of good length. There's only 48 timetable services, and you're paying $24.99 for it. There's 50p a service. When you go and have a look at something like Southeastern High Speed, and you've got 271. Again, if it's your bag and what you want to do and what you want to play, then yeah, go for it. Knock yourselves out. But if you're buying it for the sake of buying it, i.e. like muggins here, avoid, for want of a better word. I don't think it's justifiable for just something to sit in your collection. If you run out of routes and want something new to do and collect all your jobs, your achievements, and all those bits and pieces, then yeah, go for it. Knock yourselves out. But if money's tight and you've got your eye on another route, I'll always recommend people go for something that's got a lot to do in the timetable. There's only 19 services for that one and 27 for that one. So I would have preferred more services for the SD40 over the F7. But that's because this one is easier to drive and more fun to drive. That's just a pain in the arse with the way the brakes work on it. But it's entirely up to you as a consumer. But yeah, I might as well watch that one and get the credits for that.
Welcome to Train Sim World 2, an immersive and highly detailed rail simulation featuring authentic routes and trains from around the world. You've just been awarded some action points. These are displayed in the top right corner of the screen and count towards your overall experience. It is necessary to be fully aware of the surrounding world. Practice by looking up, down, left. Besides operating trains, there are This is one of many interactives to be discovered, but not all of them will be as easy to find as this one.
What did I even do?
A lot of time will be spent operating trains. You can pause the experience at any point and review previous and current objectives. A heads-up display has appeared on the right-hand side of the screen. This is a guide to all the critical information needed to operate this train. This is the speed display. The white needle shows current speed. The red marker indicates the maximum permitted speed. This is the direction display. An arrow will indicate forward, reverse, and neutral direction.
Ironic, Rogan. A lot of the time you'll be pulling your ear out.
This is the power display. A number will indicate what position the power control is in. These are brake indicators. They show the state of the various brake systems, allowing independent management of them. In the top right are the signal and speed limit displays. These feature an indication of what is approaching and a countdown distance to when they will come into effect. This train is ready to go. Pull the indicated handle towards you to get moving.
But still no information about how the brakes work. Oh, straight to notch 4. Way.
The Clinchfield Railroad is both an originator of coal tonnage and a bridge line for manifest freight traffic. This locomotive is a classic Electromotive F7 diesel electric. The Clinchfield Railroad operates 24 of the cab-equipped A units and 20 of the booster B units.
Doobie-doobie-doo. Where are you taking us, Matt, on this magical mystery tour? What's going on? I can't press A to continue, it won't let me. It's broken. Again.
Trains in World
There
2.
we go.
You've only explored a small area here, so let's take a look at what else there is to enjoy. Welcome to the Clinchfield Railroad. The Clinchfield is one of America's most famous and iconic railroads.
Is
Thanks
it?
to its rugged, remote,
Has anybody heard of it
awe-inspiring
before?
scenery and tough mountain operations, the Clinchfield is often called the Rio Grande of the East. The north end of the Clinchfield is in the heart of Appalachian coal country, and you'll be serving mines, tipples and loaders along the
Ooh,
railroad's
tipples.
main line and
Ooh,
branches.
wee.
The Clinchfield is also a busy artery for manifest freight moving between America's Midwest and South. As an engineer on the Clinchfield, you'll face the challenges of steep grades and heavy tonnage. Along the way, don't forget to repair broken fences, clear fallen logs, refill fire buckets, and bag up spilled coal. Whether operating on the main line or working on the branch lines, you choose the pace. Welcome to the legendary Clinchfield Railroad.
Yep, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Clinchfield Railroad, where we don't tell you how the brakes work. Yeah, derailing at high speed. Right, okay. That is that. Now, yeah, I don't know whether I want to carry on playing Train Sim today, to be brutally honest, until later on tonight when I'll do an evening stream. But, because I don't know if anybody's actually seen on the store, and I am tempted. I am very tempted. There is another game. Bear with me a second. Oh, no, we don't want that one. Bear with me a second, guys. Just going to load something up. Oh, my microphone's gone weird. Oh, but there is something that came out. Yes, I've been playing The Division 2, but there is this train station simulator that popped up in the store, and I'll play the trailer and let you see what you think. So yeah, there was that. Yeah. Interesting one, huh? Very interesting. I wonder if it's in here.